So talk to me. What's good? You said you wanted to. Oh no, what's this text you sent me?
Something, something intriguing, I said.
I was like,
Um,
I don't
you're
know
like,
what she.
okay. You're like, yeah, okay.
I'm like, okay,
Not because
intriguing.
I had like some different topics that I had sent you. I'm trying to let me see if I can pull them up. And I was like, yeah, this would be good podcast topics. Let me see. But what's going really good for me is I just had a meeting on Friday with my business coach, and I had sent her and included her on some of the emails back and forth to the web designer because I told you I'm revamping um, my company website. And she was able to give me some really good feedback on that. And then, like her background, she's a corporate attorney, and she's very receptive and open to coming to the networking events too, because she has some interest in like real estate. Um, and I told you she's Latina too, so she's like super cool. And she helped me to like kind of like tighten up my company capability statement. I really like some of the stuff that she added. So that was exciting. And then I took more notes on some of the other deliverables I need to like work on. And what I really like about having a business coach is it just makes me be like, okay, I can't be like BS.com on this stuff. I gotta like execute and get this stuff done. Like I have to like carve out some time and get it done. Because I feel like, and I'm sure you can totally relate, like there's never enough hours in the day to do everything you want to do. You have like okay, like the seven habits of highly effective people, you got like the four quadrants, and it's like, okay, these are things that are like, I got to put these fires out. Then there's like stuff that's you know what I mean? And it's like, it's so hard to just get everything done. And even when you're delegating out tasks, it's still super hard to get stuff done. Um, so I'm just excited about the opportunity to work with a business coach. And then I think next month or the month after that, there'll be another business coach that'll come on and kind of collaborate with us through that program that I'm involved in. So I'm just like super excited about it. And I think I told you they had like a round table where they had other people who had completed the program. And one of the things that the lady had said that really stuck out to me was like, she was like, yeah, I wish I had like taken more advantage of the opportunities when I was in the program. Now she's an alumni. And even Saquanda said that. She was like, yeah, she was like, this will be like super game changer for you because you're already like super, super in the game. Um, so yeah, I'm just excited about that opportunity to do that and really like kick the business up, a thousand notches.
That's what's up. Congratulations.
So
I know the systems piece has been something that you've been laser focused on for the last several months,
yeah,
and being more efficient, having more efficacy in your work. So yeah, I know
yeah,
that's going to be huge for you. You're going to make some huge leaps
yeah, I
ahead here in the coming months. That's what's up.
definitely. That's the game plan. What are you most excited about?
Um, just some of the newer projects I'm getting ready to introduce.
Hmm.
Um, and kind of relaunching a couple projects that I had put on the back burner just because of lack of positioning, the timing wasn't right. Um, and I needed to make sure that it was correlate with the work that I was doing. Um, so something I did several plus months ago, I actually did a recording about it, I think yesterday, is I decided I'm going to go ahead and launch a sales management company.
Okay.
And I was doing the seminars, I was doing the workshops, I was doing the companion manuals. Um, I was, doing the recordings and showing up. And the bottom line is people who attended, they talked about the transformation. They got results. I had one guy who attended one of the workshops tell me that, within a week, he applied strategies that I had shared with him, had taken on 3 or 4 clients as a result. He's continued to grow. I'm sure that based on what I heard from him, I've probably doubled his income and he wasn't doing too bad.
Okay.
Um, the issue was, though, with all the work that I was pouring into these workshops, and once again, just doing all the things, right, that are required to make sure that people have an immersive and transformative experience, it quite frankly wasn't profitable enough. It wasn't a win-win.
Okay.
Um, and once again, it wasn't because the individuals who attended weren't getting value. It's just I had the wrong individuals in the room.
Okay.
I had the wrong individuals in the room. And so as a result, the stress and the strain and the growing exhaustion, um, working on that project started to bleed into all the other work I was doing. And I had to set it on the table. Um, I recently had a meetup with a young lady who is launching an operations organization. She's looking to serve business owners who are ready to graduate from solopreneur to actually build teams and look for specialized talent to provide certain services within their business or within other people's businesses. And we were sitting down talking about, what are the things we need to do differently to attract um, the folks that we want in the room, and what are the things we're going to do differently to um, cater to individuals, give them a chance to beta test what it is that we're doing. And I'm excited to launch that phase of my entrepreneur journey. I'm getting ready to schedule a meetup where I'm going to invite individuals in the ecosystem whom I know would be receptive to what I'm sharing, especially those within the financial services and the lending industry. I mean, you've heard me talk about this all the time. Like the issue that I'm taking aim at is you have these businesses that are acquiring this funding, and what ends up transpiring is 2, 3, 5 years later, they're no longer earning revenues to grow their businesses. They're servicing these loans that they've
And that's
taken
it.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because oftentimes there's a hole in the bucket. They're not spending the money, putting systems in place, creating and generating more revenues. They're not focused on cadence. They're not focused on KPIs. They don't spend time refining their value prop and spend more time identifying their ICP, their ideal clients. Um, if you were to take these business owners, and whether it's administrative assistant, virtual assistant, or 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 employees, and put the employees and staff in one room and then put the business owner in another and ask them, why does the business exist beyond earning a buck? They couldn't give you a coherent answer, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to invite people into the space who understand that pain, and either they're experiencing it themselves, or I know they're connected to or having conversations with people who have reached that stage in their business. I want to also introduce, I think starting in late September, early October, those workshops that I was putting on. I'm going to use those workshops, um, convert them to seminars, and I'm going to give the game away free. Give it away free. And for those individuals who want help with the execution of the frameworks and the strategies and the tools, I'm going to extend myself to them. And this is the type of work that I can get really excited about. I mean, I've been building teams all my life. I was reflecting on this yesterday. I mean, I was a community activist in college,
Mm-hmm.
did a little bit more community activism post college. Um, with the insurance and investment advising agencies. Once I got my feet wet, understood how to be a professional, started building teams there. I've built a profitable, successful direct selling organization.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm in a situation where I had a conversation with 3 or 4 people today, and I was like, I am literally building a team around my real estate wholesale investment company. Like literally, it's coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's what I'm effective at, you know, putting these pieces together and helping business owners get to a point where they don't have to be the hero every single day. Whereas if they don't get up and make the sales don't happen.
Right.
I want to help them create a situation where they put the right butts in the right seats and they equip those people with everything they need to be productive and help them build thriving businesses that scale and create more revenues and become employers in the community. So that's the thing I'm really excited about. So, once again, calling those meetings together, which I'm going to step on the pedal starting next week and taking inventory of all the workshops I've done over the last several years. And in particular, the receipts I've received, those individuals who spoke very favorably, those business owners who came out of these workshops and one-on-ones I've been doing and have had success. I'm going to go out, create even more receipts, in addition to the individuals whom I've already collected them for. And I'm excited about continuing to help business owners and entrepreneurs level up and grow. That's the thing I'm most excited about. And it correlates with everything that I do. I'm still predominantly working with investors, helping them get their stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, within the direct selling industry, um, you already know I'm laser focused on the same thing, helping 100,000 entrepreneurs over the next 10 years,
Right.
contributing to their level up, right? Um, so all this is interrelated. It's just serving in a different capacity, and it's going to challenge me um, to grow and develop. I have to move into new spaces,
Mm-hmm.
put myself in places that um, I'm never really uncomfortable when I walk into a space, but I am acutely aware of when I'm in a space where I'm like, okay, I'm the low man on the totem pole. I need to level up, right?
But those are
Um,
good experiences when you are feeling like you're the low man on the totem pole, because a lot of times you're not.
right.
So it like forces you to be like, okay, let me get my thing out. Let me start taking some notes. Let me
Mhm.
start really paying attention to what's going on. You know,
Yeah.
those are great opportunities.
And, working with business owners that have the bandwidth and the capacity um, to pursue passion, right? In the beginning, when you're a business owner, new entrepreneur, I mean, you're about them dollars, you're about them profits. You got to survive.
Yeah.
Um, there's not a lot of space oftentimes to focus on passion, at least, and not a way where um, beyond the impact it's trying to make in your business, not a way that can be inclusive of others all the time.
Hmm.
Um, and the bottom line is, what they say is true. You go faster by yourself, you go further with a group. So
Right.
um, I'm looking to work with individuals who have bigger visions, um, uh, bigger ideals, want to make a more grandiose or make a larger impact in the community. I'm at the stage where those are the things that interest me most right now. I get up and I sell and I teach and educate and coach and all that other fun stuff. But I'm at the stage now where I want to take aim at some of the larger problems that exist within the entrepreneur ecosystem in the Detroit metropolitan area. And that's what I'm most excited about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's like you got a lot of stuff on the ball. So that's always exciting. Have your hand in a bunch of different things.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, yeah. And it's all once again, it all focuses on one thing, helping more people live lives of satisfaction and build businesses that employ people.
hmm
When you look at all the displacement that's taking place in society right now, when you look at the ills that have resulted in an over reliance on social media and operating digitally, um, the fact that people are having more difficulty building profitable, principled relationships. When you look at the communities that are crumbling and falling apart because a lot of things that are being introduced into the ecosystem is not about building communities, about extracting from the community.
yeah, tearing the community down.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, like I'm ready to, be surrounded by people who have identified those same issues and come up with creative ways to leverage resources and capacity and platforms to take aim at this stuff. So
hmm
yeah, that's what I'm on 10 about. Um, I was looking at your text and I was thinking like I don't know if that is going to be intriguing, but I was like I'm not quite sure what she means by intrigue. I can go three or four different directions.
I mean, we always have stuff to talk about. There's never any shortage of like topics that are affecting entrepreneurs, business owners, even within our own, ecosystem. We always
Mm-hmm.
have stuff going on, things we're trying to do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I know I have a list of 200 things I need to do. I know you have a list of 300 things you need to do. It's like always something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's cool to have unlimited topics to talk about because like some of the people who give me feedback, they're like, oh, they like the topics that we pick and have given me a lot of feedback and even some ideas of different stuff that they want, to hear us discuss. So
Tell me more.
yeah, we have quite a few people who watch all the time, and one of them, they're not an actual business owner, but they would like to be. But it gives them a lot of like insight into if I choose this route, these are some of the things that I need to be prepared for. Like some of
Mm.
the stuff we talk about as far as like you and I are always talking about getting better butts in the seats.
Yes.
They didn't realize when we were talking how difficult it is to find good people. And I was like, yeah, like that saying in real estate, always be closing, always be recruiting, always be looking for new talent, always be looking for people that you can collaborate with and, do different things with because people's goals change, people get sick, people lose interest in, whatever and decide, hey, I'm going to go in a different direction. So you always need to be, mindful of that things change on the drop of a dime. And, you need to be able to pivot, be fluid, um, quickly pick up the pieces and, keep moving forward. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I also think too that when we talked about just like the financial responsibilities that go along with being an entrepreneur and having people who are depending on you to make it happen, like um, how big of a responsibility that is. Like when you have a team and it's like, okay, if you're not thriving and growing, then you really can't support your team in that way, you know. I think that
Mm-hmm.
was like even when we talked about it, like you and I talked about like the 90-10 rule,
Mm.
how important that is because um if you are used to working on teams and used to working in that type of an environment, your natural instinct is to like want to reach out and help other people on your team because you're thinking like, okay, if I'm helping them level up, I'm leveling up too. But one of the important things you pointed out was like, no, if you're not all the way leveled up, then you need to make sure that you're limiting the amount of time that you're trying to do that because your main focus should always be your level up as opposed to like, spending time on stuff that you just don't have the time to spend on it, especially if you're not seeing the results.
Yeah, you can't lead people where you haven't gone. You can't grow people where you haven't grown.
Right.
And it is a balancing act, right, between reaching back and lifting people up. But in the entrepreneurial space, particularly early on, when you're just launching any endeavor, um, you are the mission. You
Right.
are the standard. You are the person that people look to in terms of expectations. You are the person that people look to be inspired. You have to be constantly growing, and you have to set aside the time that is necessary to do that. You need to be the change that you're articulating, right? You need to become the success story that you're helping other people to achieve, but you got to be it yourself. Um, can't fake it. It's not corporate America.
Right.
Um, so yeah, you're absolutely right. Um, I mean, that's some of the things I'm excited about as well. I don't know. We talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe even 3 weeks ago. How I don't know. I was showing up, but my energy level just wasn't there, and I realized part of the reason why I was going through a little bit of a slump is I felt like I wasn't really growing at the pace that I like to grow. I
Right.
wasn't learning at the pace that I like to learn. I wasn't tackling new things. And uh, there's something to be said for boring. You want to, you want to do things that can duplicate, and you want to be consistent. Right? You don't want to be moving the furniture around where every single day people wake up and the living room is where the dining room was at, or the kitchen is where the living room was at yesterday. You want to create that consistency, but you also have to find opportunities within these frameworks to grow and prosper and become more, um, so you
Absolutely.
can inspire others to do the same. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big
It,
deal.
it is a big deal. And it's
Hmm.
important. And two, it'll help you to kind of stay focused because I think a lot of times when you have a lot of different balls in the air and a lot of different things that you're trying to do, it's easy to get overwhelmed and to have like information overload or task overload where you're like, man, I just got so much crap to do. I like I just need a minute to like rest my mind.
You got to prioritize. And
Yeah.
you hit the nail on the head. I swear by my Franklin planner. And that was, of course, predicated on um, the Stephen Covey system. Um, and yeah, I mean, you got to prioritize the things that really, aside from the things that are urgent, with all the data and requests and agendas coming your way. One of the most important lessons we have to learn, I still have to learn it from time to time, so I can get sidetracked too, is making sure that you're setting aside time for things that really move the ball forward, that really
Yeah.
grow you, where you're working on the business as opposed to just in it all the time.
Right.
Um, yeah, that piece is huge. That piece is huge.
And it's easy to get sidetracked and just be working in the business when you're like juggling a lot of different hats and trying to delegate stuff out, when you
Mhm.
don't have that part all the way streamlined.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I'll tell you something that I've been paying attention to, um, that I don't know if it's intriguing, um, but it was fascinating to kind of to see, and hear and view the reaction. to Invest Fest that just transpired down in Atlanta. Have you been paying attention to that?
No.
Okay. So you have
Have
these.
you ever been?
Uh-uh. I'm
Okay.
going next year though. I've made up my mind. I'll be there in the room. I should have attended years ago when they first introduced it, um, because a lot of the work that they're doing, a lot of the impact that they're having, a lot of the ecosystem and or infrastructure we're putting in place, I want to see it up close and personal.
Oh,
Um, and I need the inspiration too. I love what those brothers are doing at Earn Your Leisure. And it was interesting. They had an event in Atlanta that drew approximately 30,000 people. And there was a lot of cacophony leading to it, a lot of cacophony coming out of it. Um, you had subsects of people that spoke favorably of it, particularly those who attended, and were able to benefit from the speakers and the workshops and just the whole experience that they provided. And of course, you had a lot of individuals who were clowning, who were disparaging and hating and just trying to tear what they accomplished down. Um,
like did they feel like it didn't have value or what were they?
so, you know, there's three things that I think about when I listen to the detractors. Number one, you just have some people who are haters, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You're always going to have people who, as opposed to building taller buildings and winning that way, right, by just being better, by being excellent, by accomplishing more, for some people, it is easier to tear other people down and make themselves look bigger, right? To to make themselves relevant. So you always have those individuals.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have people who look when you. It's the same thing with our conferences. It's the same thing with our trainings, our weekly trainings and our monthly trainings, and then when we come together for the corporate events that take place. Um, in order to benefit from these experiences, you have to go in with the right mindset, right? You have to go in there with the expectation that you're going to learn something. Like at our conferences, even though I've heard a lot of the content, even though some of the stuff may be redundant, I go in with the mindset that I'm going to pay close attention. I'm not going to miss a thing. I'm not going to be, lollygagging out in the hallway. I'm not going to show up late. I'm not going to leave early because I go in with the expectation that with all the success that has taken place in this space, somebody's going to share something that's going to be a key unlock. And I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know who's going to deliver it, but I'm not going to miss any of it, right? Because you can't bring together a collective of people who have brought value to people's lives and built thriving businesses and succeeded and not benefit somehow. There are always lessons to be gleaned from individuals. And that's the mindset I go into in any event like that, whether it's, with the company that we represent or any other immersive experience like that. Like I go in there with that attitude. I also go in there looking for specific things. Like I already have an agenda. This is where I'm suffering. This is where I'm having a blockage. This is where there's a deficit. This is a weakness, or this is a mental block that I'm having. I'm going in there and I'm searching out the individuals who've overcome those things, right? So oftentimes when you attend workshops or when you attend seminars or you attend conferences, you have to go in there with that attitude. You can't just show up and sit there and not be intentional. So I think you have a lot of people who attended the event, and quite frankly, they went there without an agenda. They went there and weren't intentional. And so because of that, um, they did not give themselves the bandwidth and the space emotionally, psychologically, and intellectually to glean the lessons. Um, I'm not interested in tennis. I'm not interested in fashion. I'm not into, those things don't interest me. I'm not interested in um, being a quote unquote media mogul. But I know whatever Serena Williams had to impart from that stage, there are lessons to be gleaned from that. Whether it's her mindset that made her a world champion on the tennis court, those same attributes, those same frameworks, the same attitude um, and aptitudes that she developed as a competitor on the court have served her well in business.
Hmm.
Um, there are things to be gleaned from that, right? Um, so that's the other thing. Also, you do have individuals who come to these events and they're there to um, stunt.
Yeah.
They're not there to pour into individuals. They're not there to be poured into. They're there to stunt. They want to be seen. And you know what? You're going to have that element in any and everything that you do. If you start getting a little bit of traction, a little bit of motion, a little bit of momentum, you're going to have people who show up um, with their own individual agendas, trying to
Absolutely.
promote what it is that they're doing, that they're about. They're going to try to piggyback off your platform. Um, it happens all the time. It happens at scale. Um, it happens I mean, even at the luncheons that we put on. And sometimes the evening events, you'll have people who show up and I'm looking at you and it's like, it's obvious you weren't here to learn anything. It's obvious you weren't really here to network and pour into other entrepreneurs here. You're here to promote your jam. It's all good.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
just, it's just no, we got guardrails here and you're going to abide by these guardrails. And if you don't like it, hey, um,
Lock
there's,
and take.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So when I listen to a lot of the noise around the event they put on, I mean, I'm not shocked or surprised by any of it. Um, I mean, throughout my entrepreneurial journey, um, I've always experienced that. Um, I've never done anything well, it was a different ecosystem. Um, but I remember, for instance, when we introduced, there's an African American graduation ceremony at the University of Michigan called the Black Celebratory that had disappeared for a while um, for a number of different reasons, which I'm not going to go into. But I remember there was a collective of us that got together and say, we're going to revive this, right? We're going to make this a thing again to celebrate the journey that African American students um, embark upon when they matriculate through a University of Michigan and recognize some of the trials and tribulations and some of the experiences that, quite frankly, differ from other people who are attending that university.
Okay.
And I remember, I think it was recognized as not only one of the largest ceremonies of its kind, but it was recognized as one of the largest graduation ceremonies, period.
Hmm.
Um, I think the attendance was, I don't know, at minimum, I know the attendance was 10,000 people matriculated through the
Oh, wow.
entire experience. And it may have gotten as high as, man, I can't recall how many people the Power Center can hold on the campus, but I know the Power Center holds about 30,000 people, and I remember that space was packed. But I remember the vitriol and the hate and the not even from people who weren't part of the community, people who were inside the community. I remember the hate and vitriol we received for reintroducing that event. And I remember the hate and vitriol that transpired after the event and competing interest and politics and just the whole, all the things that are associated with putting on an event that large. Um, so I'm not surprised at all when anyone does anything with that kind of largesse. Um, Matter of fact, if you don't have, I mean, sometimes, having enemies and adversaries can be a good thing. You can't please everybody. If you stand 10 toes down or anything, there are going to be some people who are going to stand against you. They just don't believe what you believe. They're not vested in what you're vested in. They don't understand what it is that you're doing, and that's okay. You can utilize criticism, some of it, as a means to sharpen yourself,
That's
right?
also how some people stay relevant too, is by being um like against other people, negative, pugilistic, always trying to tear other people's ideologies down, whatever they're doing. It's always like looked upon with like negative um viewpoint. That's a lot of times how people will build their platform, like tearing someone else down that's doing, X, Y, and Z. Um, and like that's how they'll stay relevant. So I think that's definitely like a good gauge of your success too. Because if like everyone likes what you're doing, then it's like, it doesn't go together, So there's always going to be people who like you said, they don't their goals and what they think do not align with what you're trying to do. So,
Yeah,
and that's okay. It's okay for people to not like what you're doing, not support what you're doing, or feel like it does not align with their personal or professional ideologies or goals. It's okay.
yeah. And
Um,
some people don't want to um they don't want to rise to the standard. They don't want to have to deal with the expectations, right? You have some individuals who um are content with mediocrity and they don't like the pressure.
mhm.
They don't like the tension
Yeah.
that gets applied to them. And so their response um, is to resist, to be negative, right? Um, I'm trying to remember.
I also think
There's
too,
a
I've
there.
seen this a lot where people who are not used to accomplishing goals and being successful, like they don't want to be challenged. And I think sometimes when it's like you said, you have to rise to the standard and apply yourself. If you're not used to accomplishing goals and like, okay, you've got a list of 10 things to do and you've done all 10, you're not used to that and you're not used to having success and having things work out your way. It could be difficult for that person who's never experienced those things to step into those shoes or work in that lane where they believe that they deserve better and they can be better and they can grow. Some people don't have that belief because they've not experienced that level of success with setting out a goal for themselves and accomplishing it. So if they're involved in like an organization and it's like, or even whatever, and it's like challenging what they're used to doing. And we had a conversation, me and you and a third party one day where I saw that and I was like, wow, that's what that is, as someone who's not used to leveling up, accomplishing goals, and challenging themselves. It's internal. It has nothing to do with the other people introducing the ideology. It's like that person's personal belief and what they can accomplish and what they can do and their mindset, their individual mindset.
And then you have a lot of willful ignorance. But a lot of it is um, Did you watch that movie 300?
No.
So in the movie 300, you know, you got these 300 soldiers led by Leonidas, um, going to fight the Persians, to ensure that, their people are not being enslaved. And you have this character, I think it was Theocles, that ended up betraying the Spartans, the 300.
Hmm.
And he betrayed them in part because, in order to participate in what the 300 were doing, he was required to stand. And the antagonist in the movie only required him to kneel and be comfortable,
Okay.
right? Um, Oftentimes, if you are the tip of the spear and you are introducing a new standard or vision to people that requires them to sacrifice and put forth more effort, and to become more than what they're comfortable with, whether it be their self concept or just um, require them to work on themselves in a way that they're not inclined to do. Um, Once again, it's a lot easy. It's a lot easier to hate. It's a lot easier to criticize. It's a lot easier to tear things down than to actually build things. Because it does require a certain amount of effort. It requires a certain type of intellectual dexterity and a commitment, right? A lot of people don't like to commit to things either. Um, I was joking with somebody earlier today after a presentation I gave, and she was like, "Well, I think the person is interested in the information I share. I think they're going to onboard as a client." And I said, "No, that person's not going to onboard." She said, "How do you know?" And I said, "I was listening for signs of commitment, not interest. Right? The chicken is interested in breakfast, right? The pig is committed.
Okay.
The pig is getting served on that plate. They're 100% committed to that breakfast, right?
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes people don't want to exercise a certain level of commitment. Um, and that's okay. You learn to accept it. You learn to accept it. There's no difference than in what we're building. There's no difference in what we're building here. Um, Getting some good news though. Some of our partners are getting active today.
Getting jiggy with it, huh?
They're getting a little bit active.
That's good.
That is good.
That's good. I mean, I think like sometimes when you go to like a live event and it turns out so good, that really like fuels your engine. You be like, man, yeah, this is what it's all about. Like the one that we had on Wednesday, like everybody who just showed up, that was like super exciting to me. I was like, okay, like we got some heavy hitters over here. They all just kind of pulled up, and then the one who came kind of late, I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
we're getting some momentum over here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know,
Folks are hungry for what we're doing.
absolutely. And when
Hmm.
you like post about it, you're like, oh, they're like, oh wow, this and that. Yup, that's exactly why you should show up.
So, what you got going on for
The rest of the day,
yeah.
paperwork, 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 and more paperwork, stuff that can't be delegated out.
Mm.
And then tomorrow I've got some showings, and more paperwork. So, what about you?
I need to continue. Um, I created a list of cash buyers here in the Detroit metropolitan area. So I
Mm.
need to call and harass and
Okay.
harangue and have some meaningful conversations. Um,
Did you follow up with what's his name? The guy who was traumatized by the smell of gas,
I'm
the imaginary smell of gas.
gonna follow up with him
It was just
Monday.
so funny because they kept saying like, "Oh, hey, you don't smell that," and I was like, "No, I don't smell anything." Like, what are you talking about right now? Like, bro, I've been over here like three or four times. Like, what are you talking about right now? Like, I mean, and
Yeah.
like, yeah. So it was just like, but I did follow up with the agent I told you about, um, and talked with her. And I have a few other people I want to follow up with. Um, I find having conversation with other people like very beneficial. Um, just because like sometimes when you're texting people, you're like
Mhm.
not really getting the full Monty of what's going on. Because in the conversation, we covered that. We covered a couple other things, asked her what she was working on, so on and so forth. Invited her to, of course, our live events. Um,
Hmm.
so it was like a good conversation, and I just like cold called her, because I was like, let me just try to, because some of these people are independently wealthy and they just don't answer their phones, especially on the weekend. It's it's
Hmm.
it's a thing in the industry. I think I've shared that with you.
Yep.
So it's always real interesting. Yeah, it's always real interesting because it's like I'm looking at like the numbers and it's like, what is going on that I don't know about? Like, are you dialed in with like Carlos Slim? Like, I don't know what's happening here. But yeah, so that was cool. And I want to reach out to a few other people, just cold call and be like, hey, what's going on? So yeah, pretty busy weekend, like usual. So
Hmm.
what about you? Just besides harassing the cash buyers,
That's gonna be it. I'll probably hit the gym.
are you going to do some family stuff too?
Mhm.
Okay.
After I make the calls, I'm gonna hit the gym and then I'm gonna
Do you
dedicate the
have
rest of the
a
day.
home? Do you have a home gym or do you just go to an actual gym?
So, because of where I live, there's a club
Oh,
in the neighborhood that
bougie.
um, but today that club is going to close down.
Is it nice?
Um, huh?
Is it real nice?
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna get done in time because it closes early on Saturday. At least
Okay.
it closed earlier than I needed to. So I'm gonna end up going to one of the Planet Fitnesses in the area.
Okay.
Um, get in a little bit of pain.
That little spot that we had our impromptu like evening meeting with our guest was like super cool. I'd never been over there.
Help me out.
Lux.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I was
Hmm.
like, I never had been over there, but I was like, oh wow, they got like a whole bunch of different little cool things over here.
They do. They
You know.
do. It's and that the dynamics over there are fascinating. But they have a little cool tucked in spots.
Yeah.
Um, hmm um, I can see. Um, I mean, you have pretty much everything you need over there, particularly if you're kind of pumping the brakes and slowing down. Like, I don't have a burning desire to be in the streets. I don't have a burning desire to show up places to be seen anymore. I just want to do the work, and when the work is done, man, I be wanting to relax. But
I agree. Like
yeah.
it's like I mean, I feel like when I go out now, it's specifically for a purpose. Like it's not really like, oh, I'm hanging out, I'm in the streets. I've already done all of that.
Hmm.
Like times 1,000. So it's like I'm over it. Been there, done that. It's checked off my list. And even my socializing in different events I choose to participate in, it's like I'll ask myself, like, does this really align with my professional or personal goals? Mainly professional. because I get invited to like 100 things a week, and I could spend every day going from event to event. But it's like, is this really aligning with my goals? Especially as it pertains to like a lot of realtor events,
Hmm.
where it's just like everyone here is like, you know, it's a lot of the events don't appeal to me, just because I'm into production. That's what I'm into. I'm into production. I'm into working with buyers, sellers, and investors. And, ABC always be closing. And if it doesn't really promote that, then like what's the point? I'm not, interested. And it's like there's always those events where it's like, okay, well, what was you know, and I even when I talk with other people, I'll be like, well, did you like, who did you meet? Did you get some, good connects? Oh no, it was just a bunch of people from my office. Okay. I mean,
Mm,
yeah. So,
nah.
but there's a lot of events weekly, and I think sometimes too, like, because I am so aggressive, like when I go to those events and I'm meeting other agents, I'm immediately like going for the kill. Like, oh, okay, well, what area do you work? Oh, you have any buyers? You got any listings? Like for real, like let's just cut to the chase. What's your number? I'm gonna send you my listings right now. You got buyers? Like
Yeah.
let's make like, and I think like a lot of people are like even somebody who I met who I knew from my childhood who didn't know that I was an agent, but his mom knew I was an agent. And she was like, yeah, she's doing really good. And he came to one of my open houses and met me. And he was like, yeah, you were emailing me. He was like, I didn't recognize you. And he was like, you were very aggressive. He said you were beating me up on the price. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me. And
Hmm.
and I'm like, let me get your number. And I had already had saved it in my phone. And I was like, oh, I'm about to send you over my listings. And I've been like on his head ever since, inviting him to events. Like, hey, come, where you at? I know he's like, oh my God, like, girl. I mean, but that's just what it is. Like, I mean, if okay, now that I know that you're, a realtor, okay, like let's get some deals done. Let's do some business.
Hmm.
You got some buyers. Hey, you met the right person today because baby, when I tell you I have listings upon listings upon listings. Off market, on market, occupied, unoccupied. What do you got? So, yeah. Has to align with your professional goals when you're socializing and networking, especially
Yeah.
if you're focused on your professional goals. I think like it's very easy to fall into this rut of like just going to these events and like the events really serving no purpose. I also think too it's important, and me and you had talked about this. When you're taking notes and when you're going to stuff, it's very important to set time aside to review your notes, to be able to like really absorb what it is you learned, um, and to implement and execute. That's
Yep.
why it's so important. My business coach, um, and I'm telling her too, like, this is really helping me to level up because I do not and will not ever come to a meeting with you where you've taken your time out of your schedule to meet with me and come empty-handed talking about I didn't get anything done. That'll never happen.
Mm.
Even if I'm up all night and didn't get any sleep because I was on RNT and didn't get it done to the last minute. Or worse than RNT is like island time where I'm just like, there's no sense of urgency with anything I'm doing. I'm just like, whatever. Even if I was on island time and had no sleep, I'm never coming to a meeting with my business coach where I didn't get the deliverables done. So
Hmm.
that's important to me, very, very important. So
Instills accountability.
absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Even with our book of the month and stuff like that. Like right now I'm listening to Endless Referrals. And I was telling someone else that we're reading a book together about like investing, how, because they were asking me about, our organization and what I like best about it. And I was like, well, what I really like best about it, well, of course, the benefits of the group, but more importantly for me is the personal growth and personal development piece of it, because I've never had an opportunity to be around this many entrepreneurs who are like, hey, this is the book of the week. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're doing that. Like people who, like, they're not even in our market. Like, hey, you can call me at any time.
Hmm.
If you need my help, you know, um, whatever you need. If you have a question about something, call me. Like, never in all the time I've been involved in entrepreneurial endeavors has anybody or any organization I've ever been a part of or any group been like that, where like everyone's focused on leveling up, personal growth, personal development. Nobody gatekeeps. Everybody is very, very open to sharing and giving constructive criticism when needed. So
Hmm.
that to me is huge, because if you don't have that, then what do you really have? So that's what I like most about the organization, is like that piece of it, because it's so important to like keeping your brain active and edified, and like constantly like, okay, I'm learning this, I'm learning that. We're looking at this book, we're looking at that book. And then also too, reading a chapter more than once.
Hmm.
That's been very helpful, because you could read it one time, go back, take notes, review your notes, read it again. Like, it's not like you have to zoom through the book because you got an exam in a week. It's not that type of thing. It's like you can take your time and really absorb it, or even look at it again, at some point. And I definitely like that.
Yeah, you should. It's like listening to a song. You hear a song one time, um, and then you revisit that song a year, 2, 3 years down the line, and the song lands different because you
Mhm.
experience some different things, and
Right.
um, your thinking has changed. It's like you pay attention to even instruments or the way someone sang the song lands differently. Same thing
Hmm.
in reading a book.